So, welcome everybody. I'm going to be talking today on three ideas: right speech, impermanence, and gratitude practice, and the way they kind of have come together for me in my life. So, I want to start with the right speech. On the Eightfold Path, right thought, right speech, and right action all go together and can't really be separated from each other. But the most important is right thought, because as Buddhism teaches, everything starts from thought. Thought is the starting point that leads to speech and conduct. A passage in the Dhammapada phrases it this way: with our minds, we make the world. Speak or act with kindness, and happiness will follow you as surely as a shadow follows the person who casts it. The Buddha described two types of thought: wandering thought, or vikara, and logical or directed thought, vitakka. And normally our mind is filled with this wandering thought, what many Buddhists call the monkey mind, that races from one place to another randomly. Thoughts bubble up for us out of the ether, and then they just kind of disappear back into the same place they apparently came from. We don't know. But it's scattered, it moves all around. But sometimes if we have a task or a problem to solve, we're able to focus, to have one pointedness, to think, to put our mind, to consciously choose to put our mind in a certain direction. And then usually our thoughts go back to their erratic wandering again. The Buddha made the important observation that whatever one thinks about and ponders on, often the mind gets a leaning in that way. So the more of a particular type of thought we think, the more that thought will occur. So if we often have thoughts of greed and allow these thoughts to persist, they'll tend to occupy our minds more and more frequently, and then we might start to act out in a greedy manner. So an important part of Buddhist training is to cultivate right thought and not to let negative thoughts persist within our mind. And so to encourage the positive thoughts, because as we know, energy goes where thoughts flow. If we're in a scarcity mindset, we bring scarcity into our life. With an abundancy mindset, we bring abundance. But it's not magic. It means if we come from a place of scarcity, we'll be blind to all the doors all around us, ready to open if we would just see them, because our thoughts, our mind, our focus doesn't allow us to be open to them. And keeping right thought doesn't mean that suffering and adversity won't come our way, but it does mean that we'll be less likely to bring them to our doorstep through unconscious actions. And it means when inevitable losses and pain come our way, we'll respond in a way that lessens the suffering rather than enhancing it. The first verse of the first chapter of the Dhammapada by Buddha is, all we are is the result of what we have thought. It is founded on our thoughts. It is made up of our thoughts. Like, to me, that is a huge one, so I'm going to repeat it. All we are is the result of what we have thought. It is founded on our thoughts, and it is made up of our thoughts. The second verse of the Dhammapada is, if a man speaks or acts with a pure thought, happiness follows him like a shadow that never leaves him. And another quote I love from the Buddha in regard to right thought is, your worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your own thoughts unguarded. But once mastered, no one can help you as much, not even your mother or father. There's a Psych 101 experiment that college kids often are assigned that reminds me of this. They're told to walk down a busy street one day and smile at and greet everyone they see. And then they're asked to walk down that same street the next day, and this time scowl and kind of growl and mutter at everyone they see. And guess what the responses are that they get back from the world? They get back just what they gave. But all of this doesn't mean that we should repress our thoughts or our emotions. As we know, a big part of the Buddhist practice is to be aware of and to acknowledge what we feel, what we think. Rather, it's about where we choose to focus. It's like that folk tale about the two wolves. One is on this shoulder, one is on the other shoulder, and they're always fighting. And one is darkness and despair, and the other is light and hope. And which wolf wins? The one that we feed, the one that we focus on. So that's a beginning exploration of right thought. Another cornerstone of Buddhist teachings and practice is impermanence. The understanding that nothing lasts. Therefore, nothing can be grasped or held on to. This is a very painful truth for most of us. Everything we have ever known or loved will one day cease to exist. But it's through right thought that we can avoid suffering from the fact of impermanence. Focusing on gratitude as right thought has changed my relationship to impermanence. Norman Fisher, a great Zen priest and poet, said, "The happiness that spiritual practice promises is not endless bliss, endless joy, and soaring transcendence. Who would want that in a world in which there is so much injustice, so much tragedy, so much unhappiness, illness, and death? To feel the scourge of impermanence and loss, and to appreciate it at the same time profoundly as the beautiful essence of what it means to be at all. This is the deep truth I hear reverberating in the Buddha's last words. Everything vanishes. Practice goes on. My tears, my sadness are beautiful because they are the consequence of love. And my grieving makes me love the world and life all the more every loss I have ever experienced, every personal and emotional teaching of impermanence that life has been kind enough to offer has deepened my ability to love. This is the bittersweet truth of impermanence. In Tibet, the monks and nuns offer prayers of gratitude for the suffering they've been given. They say, grant that I might have enough suffering to awaken in me the deepest possible compassion and wisdom. Focusing on gratitude as a form of right thought has transformed the world I live in. I've been doing this practice for a long time, many years, and it's like a muscle that the more we use it, the stronger it gets. So at this point in my life, most of the time, not all of the time, I'm really in a state of gratitude from the time I wake up until I go to sleep. I wake up and I'm grateful for my cozy bed. And I look over and I'm grateful that I get to wake up next to my husband and best friend in the world. I look down and here come my beautiful cat and dog wanting to greet me and say good morning to me. I notice that my hip hurts and I'm grateful that it's not any worse today. The taste of tea, the way the cup feels in my hand, a slight warm breeze, all these things all day long, I try to be aware of for just a moment and to be grateful for, throughout the day. And as a result, my life is full and I'm filled with joy on most days. Maybe even especially the simplest of days when I'm able to reflect more often. And that doesn't mean that I don't forget this practice sometimes and feel sorry for myself and get pissed off, but it means that my focus, the majority of my focus, isn't on my shame and pain, it's on my gratitude and joy. Jack Kornfield said, gratitude is the confidence in life itself. Gratitude does not envy or compare. Gratitude is not dependent on what you have. It depends on your heart. You can even find gratitude for your measure of sorrows, the hand you've been dealt. Sometimes it's through the hardest things that your heart learns its most important lessons. And of course, it's a very advanced practice in the moment when you're experiencing loss and hardship and sorrow to think, wow, thank you. This is great. I'm really learning a lot from this. And I'm not usually there, but I think all of us can probably look back on a moment of hardship and pain and sorrow and realize that it's made us stronger, better, wiser, and more compassionate. As gratitude grows, it gives rise to joy. We experience the courage, this is also Cornfield, we experience the courage to rejoice in our own blessings and in the good fortune of others. In joy, we are not afraid of pleasure. We do not mistakenly believe it is disloyal to the suffering of the world to honor the measure of happiness we have been given. Joy gladdens the heart. We can be joyful for people we love, for moments of goodness, for sunlight and trees, and for the very breath within our lungs. Like an innocent child, we can rejoice in life itself, in being alive. Encounter every moment with wonder and gratitude, and you'll experience a world that returns that right back to you. So now I'd like to share a meditation on gratitude with you all. And so I invite you not to sway. I invite you to take your seat and to begin to turn inward. Allow yourself to sit quietly and be at ease. Allow your body to be relaxed and open. Your breath natural. Your heart easy. Begin this practice of gratitude by feeling how year after year you have cared for your own life. Now, let yourself begin to acknowledge all that has supported you in this care. With gratitude, I remember the people, animals, plants, insects, creatures of the sky and sea, air and water, fire and earth, all whose joyful exertion blesses my life every day. With gratitude, I remember the care and labor of 1,000 generations of elders and ancestors who came before me. I offer my gratitude for the blessings of this earth I have been given. I offer my gratitude for the measure of health I have been given. I offer my gratitude for the family and friends I have been given. I offer my gratitude for the community I have been given. I offer my gratitude for the teachings and lessons I have been given. I offer my gratitude for the life I have been given. Now, feel into your heart center. Feel how it feels to be filled with gratitude. Feel the physical sensation and allow it to grow and to grow and to grow. Imagine your heart as a cup filled and filling with the nectar of gratitude, such sweet, sweet juice. Imagine it overflowing with gratitude, gratitude spilling over. And then I invite you, if you wish to form your hands into a bowl. And imagine you can place all that sweetness, all that gratitude into your hands and offer it up and share it out with all the universe and all sentient beings. And as you allow your hands to fall gently back onto your laps, feel love and blessings fall down on you multiple fold for the gratitude that you've given out. Fall down on you like soft spring rain. Allow yourself to marinate in these sweet blessings. Continue breathing out gratitude and breathing in the blessings and love softly falling down on you for the next few minutes. am deeply, deeply grateful for this Sangha, this spiritual community, and the love we all share. Take your time to gently come back into the room and join the Sangha.